All right, guys. So the first story is, I love the fact that the first story and the first episode of a new year is going to be one of the biggest stories in the entire year. And that is number one, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sony has started 2022 off with a bang this week. Yeah. During the company's CES meeting, Jim Ryan took to the stage to share more information into what has now been officially named PlayStation VR 2. A lot of information to get through with this one. So let's start. I thought the best way to start would be to go to the PlayStation blog and Jim Ryan himself. So I'm going to read what was put up on the official PlayStation blog. This is from Jim Ryan, or his assistant, really. It is my great pleasure to start off 2022 with news on our next generation virtual reality system for the PS5 console, starting with the official name PlayStation VR 2 and our new VR controller, PlayStation VR 2 Sense controller. I fucking love that name. They should have just called it VR 2 Sense controller. PlayStation VR 2 takes VR gaming to a whole new level, enabling a greater sense of presence and allowing players to escape into game worlds like never before. With the headset on and controllers in hand, players will feel a heightened range of sensations unlike any other, thanks to the creativity of the game worlds being built by our world-class developers and the latest technology incorporated into the hardware. Building upon our innovations from PS5, PlayStation VR 2 adds a true next-gen experience with high-fidelity visuals, new sensory features, and enhanced tracking, along with a simplified single-cord setup. Just a few little points. We're going to go into a lot of detail on the specifications with Alex in a minute. But just some of the really, really fast things. Actually, Alex, I'll save this for when you do it. You can come back to this bit because there's a lot of detail in there. He finishes it off, obviously, after the specs with all of these advancements in PlayStation VR 2, combined with the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers from the PSVR 2 Sense controllers, enable players to feel and interact with games in a much more visceral way. PSVR 2 will also have a simple setup process with a single cable connected directly to PS5. You can immediately jump into your VR experience. So I'm going to pass it over to Alex now, who is our tech guru himself, and he can go through some of the tech that's going to be not only in the VR2 headset, but in the controllers as well. Over to you, Alex.
It's okay. Well, just look at this little simple setup that Sony has managed to put together, and it's not simple at all, man. I mean, they've actually got the top of the end, man, top of the range quality specs in this device. And the big question is price. But before we get into that, let's just check out the features. Visual fidelity. So for a high fidelity visual experience, the PSVR 2 offers 4K HDR with 110-degree field of view. So that's basically what we see on a daily basis. That's pretty much our viewing range. With a foveated rendering? Foveated, thank you very much. With an OLED display, basically expect a display resolution of 2000 by 2040 per eye and smooth frame rates of 90 to 120 hertz.
We're gonna die, mate. We're gonna die.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, just hearing those two figures right there just shows that people aren't going to be leaving this. As soon as you put it on your head, you're not going to be able to discern between what's fake and what's reality, man. It's going to be the Matrix all over again, despite the polarizing views of the film. That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. Everything's just going to be beautifully smooth. I mean, compared to the first one. Going on to the headset now. I mean, you know, we've talked about the headset plenty of times on this show, but it's nice to hear it finally confirmed. The headset-based controller tracking with inside-out tracking. The PSVR 2 tracks you and your controller through integrated cameras embedded in the VR headset. Your movements and the direction you look are reflected in the game without the need for an external camera. So bye-bye to the PSI toy.
I wasted my money on this camera, man, when I bought it at launch. It hasn't even come out the box yet. What a waste.
Yeah, you just bought it straight out, man. But anyway, it's nice to see that they're actually going to have everything combined in the unit. I mean, obviously, that is where VR units are today. Integrated cameras are quite easy to come by, but the fact is that they're going to be using Sony's tech. I mean, their cameras are top of the notch, top of the range. I mean, as always, but they're going to be basically able to track your eyes, which is going to be so impressive to see how developers are going to utilize that in games. The other sensory features in the PSVR 2 sensor technology combines eye tracking, as we've mentioned, and headset feedback. Oh my God, I just feel like Christmas, man. On top of that, we're going to have 3D audio and the innovative PSVR 2 Sense controller to create an incredibly deep feeling sense of immersion. Headset feedback is a new sensory feature that amplifies the sensations of in-game actions from the player. It's created by a single built-in motor with vibrations that add an intelligent tactile element, bringing player closer to the gameplay experience. For example, gamers can feel a character's elevated pulse during tense moments, the rush of objects passing close to the character's head, or the thrust of a vehicle as a character speeds forward. Additionally, the PS5's Tempest Audio 3D audio tech makes an appearance in the player surrounding, and it makes the player surrounding come alive, adding this to a new level of immersion. So going back to the eye tracking, with the eye tracking, the PSVR 2 detects the motion of your eyes. So a simple look in a specific direction can create an additional input from the game character. This allows players to interact more intuitively in new and lifelike ways, allowing for a heightened emotional response and an enhanced expression that provide a new level of realism in gaming. Now, this is the future. I mean, this is Ready Player One.
No,
this is just like, this is the fact it's gonna be tracking your eyes. I mean, what they could potentially do with this is crazy. I mean, obviously the controllers, the sense controllers are going to be phenomenal anyway. They're going to have the analog sticks in there as well. But with the eye tracking, you could essentially just look at a location within the game and instantly teleport there.
Just picture it now.
Developers truth.
Batman grabs you, look at me, and you're not allowed to move your eyes
straight into his eyes. Yeah, I mean, you can even have games about like lie detecting. You know what I mean? To detect whether you're,
they're gonna do it, man. They're gonna do it.
They can do so much. I mean, you could have a whole game where you don't even have to use a controller. You could literally just look at what, just look at an object and then it reacts and it interacts just that way. I mean, I'm just too excited about this. I mean, obviously, when the first announcement was last year, I mean, obviously, we jumped over the moon, and I was so happy to hear that they're actually going full steam ahead with the promotion.
The only time we did two impromptu episodes was PSVR 2 and then the controllers.
Yeah, of course, man. And the haptic feedback, I mean, this is something that was rumored and now it is fact. It's nice to see that they're actually taking things 10 steps further because the competition aren't even doing that yet. The fact is that you're going to be able to feel the game around you. You're going to be able to sense it like lightly on your head. Obviously, it's not going to be enough to knock you out, but it's definitely going to be enough to create some more immersion within the gameplay. And what Sony's planning to do here, this is just great. I mean, obviously, if you've got like companies like Naughty Dog, you've got, Guerrilla Games, Insomniac, imagine what they could potentially do with this technology. It's going to be an amazing feat. So I'm really looking forward to it. Also, there's going to be one single connection, as we mentioned earlier. It's just going to be a USB Type-C. A lot of people were a bit dubious about this choice, but obviously USB Type-C is not to be underrated. It is a very powerful connection. Not only is it small and lightweight, and pretty much everybody's got one these days, if you've got one of any phone bought in the last 3 years at least, the USB Type-C can also transfer about, say, 10 gigabytes per second. So when you compare that to the competition, it's like the Vive or the Oculus, any other connected device, they have about 4.85 gigabytes per second. So Sony's already got the capabilities to max it out to double that.
Well, so to think that the original PSVR had two USBs. So this shows you, you know what I mean, running in the front and the back of the box. So this is obviously showing you that, this means business right out the back.
Yeah, it does. We've got the 6-axis motion sensing system as well. So we're going to have complete gyro, as you would expect. And then obviously the built-in microphone support with the headphone jack. So it's ready. It's ready. The only thing that we need to worry about now is the bloody delivery date, because I can't wait.
Before you move on to the controller specs, because I know you've got the VR2 Sense controller specs for us as well. Let's go back to that example. For example, gamers can feel a character's elevated pulse during these moments, the rush of objects passing close to the character's head. Alex, how did you not mention a bullet in Superhot coming past you and it's missed it?
Dude, you didn't think I'm too hyped right now, man. There's loads of ideas coming from everyone. But yes, that would also be awesome. Even like
It's
if
gonna
you're
be
Batman,
amazing.
I mean, if you're, I mean, it's just the possibilities for this are bloody endless. And especially and especially when you just think about how the quality of the actual screen is going to be. We're looking at an OLED display, you know, looking at 120 hertz. That alone is going to be intense. I mean, a lot of people had complained, well, they had been complained, not a lot, about motion sickness, you know, with VR, but with this 90 hertz to 120 hertz is just phenomenal. It's just going to be very seamless, and it's going to be very easy and for anybody to pick it up, even if they're not even used to using VR headsets.
Have you ever
So
seen Pan's Labyrinth?
Pan's Labyrinth.
Whatever
I
it's called.
have once. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
we're all gonna end up like that monster, you know, like fucking
That's
like
us.
this by the end of VR. You know what I mean? It's gonna be
Dude,
insane. Can't wait.
hold on. All right, hold on.
Cannot
We've
wait.
got like a sound issue. That's what we were about to talk about. Some sound. The sound just went out. Um, obviously they got the Tempest audio as well. So they've just been teasing us, basically, isn't it? I mean, they've been teasing us. I mean, it's nice to see they've actually come up with all this information, and I also want to see the other specs like the weight, you know, the weight of this device, and also the price, obviously, you know, because the first one came out. How much is that when that was released?
399.
399, yeah, which is about what 100 less than the actual system. So if they, you know, stay true to form,
No,
could we see
no,
something?
it costs more. It costs the same as
Was it
PS4.
more?
It costs the same as the PS4.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
It was the same.
well, I hope they're not going to be true to form this time around. Then,
I
you know what I
think
mean? Like
I
550, like 500.
I think
Jeez.
minimum is the minimum is 399. That's the minimum amount.
Minimum.
Yeah, I think it will be
Yeah.
expensive because this is like state of the art. We're not, yeah, the Quest 2 is about accessibility. This is about complete and utter power. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And getting you as close to VR, like realization of the future that we've seen in film. So
Yeah.
it's going to be amazing. But Al,
It
you
is.
got to hit us up with the Sense controller specifications. We want to know about
Sense
these
controllers.
controllers.
All right, and yeah, so as you'd expect, if you have been fortunate enough to have one of the dual sense, you'll understand the layout.
I'll help
On
you
the
with the visual aid while you
on the
talk.
visual, there we go. So on the right side, we've got the PS button, we've got the options button, actions button, circle and cross R2, and the usual setup basically. On the left, we've got the PS button, the create button, action buttons, and L2 and L1, the usual setup. The sensing and tracking motion sensors is going to be the brilliant six-axis, I can't even get my words out, six-axis motion sensing system with the three-axis gyroscope and a three-axis accelerometer, a capacitive sensor, which is going to be the interesting thing now. Okay, so this is it. The capacitive sensor for finger touch detection, IR LED position tracking. Now this is what we're waiting for. I mean, this is the evolution of what is already an unbelievable pad. You know, the DualSense. I mean, the haptic feedback and the resistive triggers. I mean, that was also already next level. But what Sony is planning to do here now is to enable the system to detect finger movements. You know, using infrared lasers and LEDs, so it would accurately track your fingers. So if you're doing a GAN sign, if you're doing a fist, you know, if you're clenching your hands together, it will mimic that within the world.
Wait.
I mean, yeah, there are VR headsets doing that as well, but they cost a ridiculous amount of money. And what Sony is obviously planning to do is to enable the top end technology for, I mean, like we said, I mean, around that
Dude, that's
price
what I'm
range. But
saying.
this is
If you
insane.
think about it, they got to sell the PSVR2 headset with the controllers.
Yeah.
And if they only say, yeah, we're only selling one, that's bullshit. They're going to do two because it's triangle. So
Yeah.
you think of how expensive that's going to be, man. I've got a feeling that they're going to turn around and say, yeah, you can use a pad and then you're going to buy them separate. Oh, my God.
Yeah. They could do that. They could do that. But they
very Nintendo of them.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's true. Actually, that would be. But I think what they will do is just bundle it all in. I mean, obviously, they just want
make that £600 then, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. That's what we're looking at, you know. And obviously, they'll just make it all back from the subscription and monthly active users. But yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. I can't get my words out, but very impressive specifications. And the question is now, when are they going to be planning to release this device? Because yes, they've hit us straight out the gate, you know, for the new year with this brilliant information. It's nice to know that they've actually got the finger on the pulse. But we are still in 2022, and there's still issues that are still currently obviously holding back people, regular punters from getting a PS5 at the moment, and now they're talking about releasing new tech. So when do you think they're going to be looking to release the system? You know, judging what's going on in the world right now.
Between after God of War, so between September and December, I think Sony they'll aim for around about the same time the original one went, and they'll look to get the holiday sales in. It will be the holiday focus, the tech that we want. They'll look at Oculus Quest 2's really successful Christmas that it just had, and they will be like, right, how do we sell out straight away? We do it at Christmas time. Do you know what I mean? And it will be, people want it like crazy. It will be massive. And the original PSVR blew up that first Christmas, and there was so many videos. Do you remember they didn't do any marketing because they didn't need to? It was all over social media. People playing VR in their homes with the Shark demo and things like that. And I think they'll aim for that again. So I am probably saying late September, early October for the launch of this.
Okay.
What about yourself?
That would have to, yeah. Well, I'm thinking around the same time frame. I mean, the rumors are that they're actually going into production in the next coming weeks, so that would be gearing up for systems to be will start to be ready by the end of August. So yeah, that could actually be the